You're watching RTV News with me, Jane Motoni. The Prime Minister, Dr. Edouard Ngirente, finds that promoting technology in service delivery is a powerful weapon in the fight against corruption. As the world celebrates International Press Freedom Day, experts in the field of information technology have said that while technology has served as a catalyst for easy and fast access to information for the general public, it has also exposed them to misinformation and more. Welcome to the news in details now. The Prime Minister, Dr. Edouard Ngirente, finds that promoting technology in service delivery is a powerful weapon in the fight against corruption. Now, he made the remarks on Tuesday at the opening ceremony of the 12th Regional Conference of Heads of Anti-Corruption Agencies in Commonwealth Africa. Innocent Mugabo has this report.
18 heads of anti-corruption agencies in Commonwealth Africa gathered in Kigali for a 4-day meeting on joint anti-corruption measures to promote good governance and sustainable development in Africa. The Prime Minister, Dr. Edouard Ngirente, who officiated the ceremony, reminded participants that corruption has a huge impact on the lives of the people of the world.
Several reports have indicated that global corruption is now costing around $1 trillion annually. This has severe effects on the lives of our people. This cost is very high and it continues to weaken resilience of our communities. Corruption creates economic distortions and hampers investments. Investors who deserve a fair and competitive business environment will avoid investing in countries where there is a high level of corruption. Commonwealth Africa member states can make a difference in this fight against corruption through strengthened cooperation and effective accountability mechanisms.
The Commonwealth Secretary-General, Ms. Patricia Scotland, also notes that corruption is a major factor hindering the development of countries and their people, pointing out that the African continent alone loses more than 50 billion annually due to corruption in financial management. She also stressed that between 1980 and 2018, Sub-Saharan Africa received nearly $2 billion in investment and development assistance, but more than $1.3 billion went missing, which would have been used to get about 1.4 billion people out of poverty. Ms. Patricia states that the fight against corruption requires cooperation, stressing that this will also be among the topics to be discussed at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, CHOGM.
For anti-corruption efforts to be the best, we have to have a whole Commonwealth approach, and it can be working together, learning from each other, and collectively setting the highest possible standards. And this essential ambition will be part of the agenda for the forthcoming Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting here in Kigali next month. So it's fitting and timely that we gather here for this conference, combating corruption for good governance and sustainable development in Africa.
The meeting is an important platform for sharing experiences and innovations that some of the countries use in the fight against corruption. On the Rwandan side, Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente stresses that closing corruption gaps in service delivery through the use of technology and performance contracts continues to help the country fight against corruption.
In Rwanda, the political will to enhance transparency and accountability are key factors to implement a zero-tolerance approach against corruption. The offense of corruption in Rwanda is not subject to any statute of limitation in Rwandan laws. And this implies that prosecution of corruption crimes has no time limit. In that spirit of preventing and fight any form of corruption, the government of Rwanda aims at using information and communication technologies for delivering services to our citizens. Many examples were given, and let me tell you that so far, key government services are currently accessed online. Different electronic systems were developed and are now in use, including the integrated electronic case management system in the justice sector, the integrated financial management system, the e-recruitment system, as well as the e-procurement.
This is the first time that Rwanda has hosted the regional conference of heads of anti-corruption agencies in Commonwealth Africa. Innocent Mogabo, RTV News.
Thank you, Innocent, for that report. Now, as the world celebrates International Press Freedom Day, experts in the field of information technology have said that while technology has served as a catalyst for easy and fast access to information for the general public, it has also exposed them to misinformation, non-professional news, dissemination, lies, slander, violence, and more. Isabel Masozera has more on this report.
Although Deborah is concentrating on her work, thanks to technology, she is able to watch Rwanda television. She says herself and many others can't rely on technology on their mobile phones because of misinformation. Things are easy because I have the RPA app on my phone. When I have some free time, I open the app and check what is on TV. I don't have to be home to watch the news thanks to the internet.
You can access the world news and know what happened abroad, what happened in Europe, what happened in Africa, what happened in your country. You no longer have to run around looking for magazines all over the place. You can read international newspapers on the internet.
On the day that marks International Press Freedom Day, many journalists are lauding the role of technology in facilitating easier and faster information dissemination, despite of misuse of social media sites like Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, and others.
Those who abuse the freedom they have to publicize their ideas on YouTube, maybe it is because they don't understand how they should limit the way of expressing themselves. Because the fact that you have the lights and everything and available ways to speak up does not mean that you don't have the limit to of course the expression, the freedom of expression has the limit.
It is possible to get more views looking at the content that you're putting out there. Everything that you do, there's always a barrier. There's always a line that you cannot cross. For example, in comedy you have to know, what is this joke relevant? Is it educative? As we have been transiting from one era to another, the ethics of journalism have not transformed.
There are currently 18 televisions, 201 radio stations, and 34 newspapers in Rwanda. According to Rwanda Media Commission Executive Secretary Mugisha Emmanuel, the most common problem is unprofessional journalists who spread unfounded reports. PAC's press coordinator notes that there is a need to tackle the problem by helping users of social media sites to educate themselves.
Yeah, it's indeed a challenge because we find the public complaining to us, but since most of these people are not officially recognized journalists, we find it difficult to hold them accountable. So you find that it's really not something good because in that case, those who do it end up doing harm and they're not held accountable. So that's how it's very challenging.
Anything to add on?
What we should add on is that people should, be very sensitive and conscious on how they interact and share whatever they share on social media platforms, because most of them share it knowing that it's verified news or content, but they should develop a conscience of critical thinking and developing fact-checking kind of skill sets, so that they also contribute content on social media platforms in a more responsible manner. so as to mitigate the harms of these social media platforms.
So we say our recommendation are to develop the media literacy, media information literacy in schools and formal forums like Umuganda, like cooperatives, where all participants should be sensitized on the content, the good content given via media, via information channels.
It is a day observed at a time when the COVID-19 pandemic is progressively receding. More than 300 journalists have been killed worldwide, 284 of them from India. Isabel Masozera, RTV News.
And moving on, medical experts say that increasing the number of hospitals and doctors and bringing them closer to the community are among the things that will increase the quality of life, because that way people will get treated earlier, hence reducing mortality rates or cases of critical sickness. Now, this was pointed out as various hospitals are being established across the country in order for people to access health services quicker and easier without having to travel long distances. Take a look. It is in the afternoon. We are at the home of Claver Mbonigaba, who lives in Karama sector in Nyagatare district. Claver is with his family and an infant. This baby is 1 year and a half old. Its name is a unique one, but carries a meaning to it, as explained by the parent.
On
that day, I was overwhelmed. I didn't have a name for my baby yet, so I thought it best to call it a name that symbolizes this day. So I named it Mvukiye Gatunda, meaning born at Gatunda. It was a special day. I wanted it to be a mark of where he was born, which is at Gatunda Hospital, which was established by our president.
Rwose kizambera ikimenyetso ko nanjye umwana wanjye yavukiye mu bitaro bya Gatunda bwa mbere byubatswe n'umukuru w'igihugu.
Clever says he named the baby Mvukiye Gatunda as the first baby to be born in the newly constructed Gatunda Hospital, so that it serves as a memorial to his entire family and a tribute to the good leadership that took note of the area and constructed a model hospital there. The district-level hospital construction program did not stop with Gatunda Hospital in Nyagatare district, as it continued in other districts including Gakenke in Northern Province. Gatonde Hospital is one of the new hospitals that were added to Nemba and Chira hospitals, as the landscape of this area is extremely steep, hence challenging for patients seeking treatment, as explained by the management of the newly built hospital and its patients.
As a patient that was admitted here at Gatonde Hospital about to deliver, it could have taken 3 hours to get to Nemba, but getting here takes 30 minutes. If before it would take 2 hours waiting for a patient that you will attend to, now it will take only 30 minutes to attend to them.
It was President Kagame who came with the plan and established it. We thank him, and may he continue to establish more for us. In the southern province, Nyabikenye Hospital in Muhanga district, especially in Ndiza sector, is among those expected to reduce travels to Ruri and Kabgayi hospitals. The people of Nyaruguru are expecting a change in service delivery at the new Munini hospital, especially since the area is densely populated and there are no other hospitals nearby except in Huye or Kigeme.
We are very thankful to the President of the Republic for this, because people used to get critically ill in their homes and others could die on the streets because medical care was low.
It's a big hospital, visible enough for everyone. There is no issue of scarcity of beds or overcrowding of patients or long lines. All these problems will be solved. Healthcare providers emphasize that the increase in district-level hospitals has particular benefits in terms of bringing special healthcare services close to the people that are usually sought at the main hospital.
The goal is to help people access health services that are not available in the district, such as dental, eye, and circumcision, as people used to travel to other countries, such as Uganda, for such services, because there were no specialists available to treat them.
In addition to the hospitals built outside Kigali, in Kigali city, the construction of the Nyarugenge District Hospital has just been completed. This project is aimed to reduce overcrowding at the same hospital, hence poor service. Dr. Cornel Nihabosi, the head of clinical and public health services at the Ministry of Health, stressed that increasing the number of hospitals is contributing to better living conditions.
It helps in reducing mortality rates and increasing life expectancy, because the earlier a citizen is treated when he or she is diagnosed with an illness, the more likely it is for them to live longer. If the life expectancy statistics now state 66 years, the next study could be 70. These hospitals were built during the last 5 years: Byumba, Gatonde, Munini, Nyabikenye. These hospitals were promised by His Excellency, the President of the Republic, to the people in 7 years.
Statistics show that every year in Rwanda, the number of children born is at least equivalent to the population of an entire district, while the average population of a district is 300,000, which means that population growth should go hand in hand with increasing infrastructure. Local residents from 6 sectors in Nyagatare district along the country's borders appreciate the access they now have been given to storage facilities, which makes the buying and selling of their products an easier process. Now, prior to this, obtaining the merchandise required travel back and forth to wholesalers in Kigali, sometimes even crossing international borders. Precious Kirezi reports.
The district of Nyagatare has 14 sectors, 6 of which are located along the border. Karama, Tabagwe, Musheri, Matimba, Kiombe, and Gwemasha are the sectors in question. Each of these sectors has various storage facilities that are of use to the residents. It is a government objective to make the products easily accessible and affordable to the residents, which they are appreciative of.
Things in the small shops are expensive. The bigger shops are less costly, and that is where most of us shop from. I'm glad the government has given us access to the storage facilities at an affordable price.
A permanent employee in one of the storage facilities meant for Karama residents, Mrs. Bazimazichi Beata, says those who seek the service are approximately 100 people a day, and they always find what they're looking for. These storage facilities are helpful to the residents. We are barely short on anything. When our inventory levels are low, we place orders to restock. The residents are very happy about this, and we service plenty of them daily. This has highly been approved by the local residents and has put an end to the ideology that they should only shop in Kigali or across borders because they can't access their needs or wants near them. This matter was also recently touched on by the President of the Republic himself.
Our private sector members should not be blinded by small profits and fail to see the bigger picture. And this is in line with what I said earlier about products that were being manufactured here but were not reaching the border. Why don't manufacturers realize that their market is not limited just to this city and that they can supply other towns in Musanze, Huye, Rubavu, Karongi, and elsewhere? You are not supposed to limit your supply. That is the reason to why things are not reaching everywhere. You had all focused your merchandise in the city.
Aside from storage facilities and products, modern markets in every sector have been availed to local residents as well. Infrastructure such as health posts and health centers have been put in place with 19 clinics operating in the sectors out of the 83 in the whole district, some of which are being upgraded to provide services found in health centers, along with provision of good roads, water, electricity, vocational schools, and others. Precious Chidezi, RTV News.
Local residents across the country have raised concerns over the charges imposed by land surveys and the methods they use to determine the size of plots, saying they are not uniform. The Rwanda Land Management and Use Authority says it is amending the regulations that govern the surveyors to avoid such chaos. Ghislaine Mugwaneza has this report.
The local residents have said that there are problems caused by land surveyors, including setting their own prices for the services they provide.
We have a problem with land surveyors and their prices, which are not the same, yet it is in one cell. There are those we give 50,000 per half of the land and 50,000 on the other half, and others come while asking 60,000 Rwandan francs, which shows disorder in land survey. A technician can come and tell you that you will give them 50,000 Rwandan francs, but will reduce the price if you are many. We don't know how much is it for a plot of land because a mutation comes after. It is not included in the price. They take a CD at the sector after conducting the survey. You find that 10 plots that got measured at once are 250,000 Rwandan francs, while it is 250,000 Rwandan francs when it is only one plot of land.
The head of Rwanda Organization of Land Surveyors, Atanas Gasirabo, has mentioned the main causes of the disorder found in land survey.
Except improvements we are making in price setting, but the existing instructions we were following are charging 30,000 Rwandan francs on a small plot of land. Residents should not pay more than that, which is why we ask those in charge of land services provision to speed up instructions that are needed to set the official prices to be used by all surveyors. You understand that non-qualified ones use non-standardized equipment, which confuse a resident, because if I take measurements and get a 500 meter squared while another one gets a 700 meters squared after, that is already a problem.
The Director General of Rwanda Land Management and Use Authority, Esperance Mukamana, says that the amendment of regulations governing land surveyors are being put in place to solve such problems.
Itegeko nirimara kuboneka ubwo hazajyaho n'amabwiriza ku buryo uriya mwuga nawo uzajya ukorwa muri gahunda.
After the law has been established, there will be regulations that will be governing that profession in order. Not just waking up as a surveyor and set your own price. Prices should be set. There are plots in Kigali and in rural areas. There are more to be emphasized on, and what we assure the residents is that regulations are being amended. Let's say if you are measuring for a neighbor and charge them 20,000, while you will charge another one 30,000. That difference is big, yet the work performed is the same. Another thing is materials used. They should be indicating the exact surface. As the land management institution, we are building stations to help surveyors to get networks so that they will be able to measure the right surface of the land. Currently, the Rwanda Organization of Land Surveyors has 600 certified members, and the rest are not qualified to provide such services. Ghislaine Mugwaneza, RTV News.
Well, there you have it. On behalf of the entire news production team, thank you so much for your company. I'm Jane Mutoni. Bye for now.